Simpson. And Japan have gone absent without leave. This is Whitmore. Hall and Gale both available. It's still Whitmore. It is the Reggae Boys who take the lead.
Ball chat. Greetings, football lovers. Welcome to Ball Chat Off the Field, where we discuss the world of football with movers and shakers in the world of football. My name is Benton Lawson, and I have a special guest joining us today, the one and only Michelle Adam Mollicon, president of the Reggae Girls Federation. Michelle, how are you doing? And hopefully I did not torture your name. How are you doing, Michelle?
I am doing great. And again, Reggae Girls Foundation. I thought you said Federation.
Reggae Girls Foundation, not Federation. I was thinking about the JFF Federation. Reggae Girls Foundation. Thank you for taking the time. So let's get right into it. Give us remind the football fans and all the listeners who will eventually listen to this podcast, what was the impetus, the initiative for starting the Reggae Girls Foundation? I know you're the founder. What was the reasoning behind this? Remind us of that story again.
Yes, no, thanks first and foremost for having me on your podcast today. And I always appreciate the opportunity for us to share more about the foundation and how we really got started. I'm one of the co-founders. This organization really got started from, the brain power of a few individuals who really have seen what the power of a foundation can do for programs like our JFF programs for women in football. And, as we looked at it, we saw where when you compare and contrast those football programs like the US, Canada, and other countries, we definitely saw a gap where countries like Jamaica and others in the Caribbean were at a disadvantage because they did not have the financial fortitude, if you will, to be able to compete. And as a result, needed financial support. And so again, we really got together to just have a conversation around, we know it's a challenge. We know that we don't have some of the resources and the support that other countries have. So what can we do to create a organization that can basically help us with our mission to really inspire, educate, mobilize, and support the next generation of young female footballers in underserved communities. And so we basically put our heads together. There were about 4 of us that put our heads together and basically started the legwork to do the research, apply for the 501c3, and to really see what we could do to make a difference. That was in early 2018, February, to be exact, of 2018. And then sure enough, a few months later in October, November timeframe of 2018, the Reggae Girls, as you're aware, qualified for their first World Cup. And so the coaches reached out to say, hey guys, I know you're just kind of putting all the pieces together as it relates to this, but we really need your support to see what you can do to support us. They've qualified. And so we just jumped in and started our fundraising efforts, working first with the General Counsel and Commissioner Alexandra Davis in Miramar, and we started working towards raising some funds and putting together a send-off for our Reggae Girls.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with the work you all have done. It's been quite impressive. But I am very familiar with non-profit work, 501c work, but I've never seen it in this sense before, being used as some sort of fund to help, support, football, mobilize, educate, and develop young footballers. Was there a model that you guys were looking to copy? Was there a successful model out there that you guys were looking to replicate?
Well, if you look at the U.S., soccer from a football perspective, they've got a foundation that really supports football across the United States.
Okay.
Right. And again, U.S. soccer basically, they thrive from that, right? Because they're doing the grassroots efforts to really start to get these young, individuals into soccer and into football. And so that as a result, you're building a pipeline for the federation in essence. And so, again, in the U.S., football is a pay to play model. And unfortunately, again, when we think about some of our underserved communities, not just in Jamaica, but there are lots of underserved communities, with Jamaican diasporans, where those individuals might not be able to spend those discretionary dollars on, sports, if you will. And so again, it's a model that I looked at since both of my kids were involved in the U.S. in football. I looked at that model. I know when my daughter went to national camps, everything was funded, and she was going every other month. So realistically, that really was the model from where I sat around what we could do to support and bridge some of those gaps for those individuals in those underserved communities.
Yes, impressive. And the magnitude of what your foundation have undertaken here, helping, we know the Reggae Girls and the Jamaican Football Federation discontinued the program in 2014 thereabout. So the foundation stepped into a space was desperately needed. And we're not going to get into the JFF Federation and its interaction with the players, but it's well documented how difficult it is for players to work with the federation. With that being said, how did you, project to get success, knowing that you're going to have to work with the JFF, which can be a bit contentious at best sometimes?
Well, first and foremost, I want to touch on the program that was halted in 2014. The foundation was not in existence when that occurred, and Cedella Marley really rallied and supported the program to bring it back to life. So I want to make sure I definitely express our gratitude for Cedella in all she's done as the ambassador for the program, to basically bring it back to life and to get those young ladies to the point where they were able to compete prior to qualifying to basically achieve that historic landmark of being the first, Caribbean country to ever qualify and compete in a World Cup. So definitely wanted to share that perspective. As it relates to the foundation, when we did our benchmark, and I spoke to several individuals around, help me to understand, have you all considered a foundation? They said, yeah, there were some individuals that actually tried to do that, but it was really difficult for them to really get it off the ground. And we recognize, in business, that's the hardest piece of it, right? Everyone can aspire for a goal, but you've got to have the fortitude. You've got to have the resilience. You've got to have the professional maturity to be able to navigate through the rough waters. When you think about the board and the officers that really came together to form this, we've got a general counsel, a lawyer, who basically negotiates billion-dollar contracts on a regular basis. To negotiate billion-dollar contracts, you've got to interact with not just the folks you like to interact with, but you've got to interact with everyone from all different walks of life. We've got a CPA and an entrepreneur that basically, again, similarly has his own business and really has to navigate and work with individuals from all walks of life. And it's not easy. Myself, I'm an executive in a $4 billion healthcare system. I have to interact with individuals at varying points of the day. And it's not always easy, but ultimately it's really about having the professional maturity to figure out ways to influence and to interact, and to make sure that we're focused on a single goal. And the foundation has agreed our single goal are the girls. We are putting the girls and the ability to support them first and foremost, right? Above our egos, above, the organizations. That is a big part of our mission. And at the end of the day, if the foundation chose to shut its doors, the only individuals that lose at this stage would be the players, right? The young women that are, have the opportunity to achieve their potential, but will not be able to. So we've made a commitment. We made a commitment, no matter how difficult the road gets and becomes. We are really wanting to put the players first, to put their needs first, and to be able to support them in whatever way we can.
My granny would have said, brave. I love it.
So we are so we fight, man, we fight.
I love it. Looking forward to the upcoming, of course, the Reggae Girls are getting ready for another run in at FIFA World Cup 2023. They're getting ready for the CONCACAF final round starting next week, actually in Monterrey, Mexico. How is the Reggae Girls Foundation helping the girls get ready for this big tournament sitting ahead of us right now?
Well, first and foremost, we always aspire to do more than we're doing today.
Yes.
That's first and foremost. I will say, prior to us launching our fundraising effort for the senior girls, we launched a fundraising effort for the U20s, and we were able to raise about $20,000 within a 1 month period. Right around the time when we were about to launch, our fundraisers, that's about the time where, again, the coaching dilemma was a big part of the social media environment. And so there were a lot of questions as a whole. And I think that did hamper our ability to fundraise to the level that we felt we could have. Notwithstanding, we had lots of supporters across the globe that basically rose to the challenge and really, accepted the call for action. And so we were able to support the Reggae Girls, Della Marley, the Bob Marley Foundation, and Football is Freedom. When we connected, they said, we will take care of the Colorado camp, but there will be a camp or needs for the Reggae Girls between the 28th and the 2nd of July that we'll need your support with. And so we were able to contribute $15,000 US dollars towards that effort to really support the Football Federation with their preparation for the tournament that will be taking place in Monterrey, Mexico, starting July 4th.
Big award. Football family heard it here first. $50,000 for the Reggae.
$15,000.
15.
Yes.
15.
Yes, we would have loved to have done 50, but again, maybe next time.
Yes, 15. $15,000, but that's huge. Knowing the limits, limited resources that's available to the Reggae Girls. Now, just putting on your football hat, I know you're a football mom, if I could use that term, and I know you're also an expert of the game. Looking forward to this World Cup qualifiers. I mean, how do you project? I know you're biased towards the Reggae Girls, but how do you project this one shaking out, coming up next week, starting next week with USA, Haiti, and Big Bad Mexico?
Oh man, again, when I saw the draw, I got to tell you, I was just thinking, man, we got into the hardest group, right? But
yes, we did.
There's nothing in life that doesn't come with challenges. I am confident that these young ladies, irrespective of what challenge is put in front of them, when they step on that field, they are going to give 100%. None of these players are going out there to go, I'll take third or fourth. They're going there to really compete and compete for a place to go to the World Cup. So, again, I never question, the opportunities that these young ladies get, that they will rise to the challenge. Again, we simply continue to strive to try to break down some of the barriers and gaps that basically create some of those distractions for them to be able to be 100% on that field come game day. So again, I think no matter what happens through this tournament, but I'm rooting for them to do their best 100%. No matter what happens, I'm going to be proud of those Reggae Girls, because again, it's really about taking on those opportunities and really being able to represent their country, represent themselves, and represent their families and that flag when they get on that field. And they always do that with grace and professionalism. So I'm always excited whenever I see them on the field.
Yes, yes, really, really. Speaking, just pivot a few minutes here to grassroots support. A key part of success at the senior level is connected to grassroots sport performance. Your children. I think you have 2 children that plays football, right? They went through the grassroots system here, the pipeline system here. Is the Reggae Girls Foundation looking to maybe support like a league or grassroots programs in Jamaica? That is.
So again, when we started, we had a 4-point strategy for the foundation. The first one is really, first and foremost, build awareness around the women's program in Jamaica. There are a lot of diasporans that didn't even know that Jamaica had a women's football team.
Yes.
And so,
Sadly.
again, our social media presence was a big part of our strategy getting off the ground. The second strategy was really around, supporting the Women's Premier League, right? Not every young player is going to get the opportunity to play overseas in a university or a college. And so we want to make sure that if those young ladies choose to stay home, and stay in Jamaica and really take it to the next level with their football, we can support the Women's Premier League. So we typically donate funds to the Women's Premier League to really make sure that we can support that and keep that moving and going. Our third strategy was really around a very long-term strategy. And the model that we're looking at is the IMG model in the US. IMG is a organization in the US where young players from across the globe and in the US, they actually go to this school and they get their education there, they get their sports development there. It's a one-stop shop. So how can we create an academy system to where we could basically create an academy in Jamaica? And I know there's lots of academies, as in folks leave home and every day they go to practice, but we're talking about a actual organization, a building, a fields, all of those pieces to where young girls can basically be residents in the program, where they can get their academic development, their athletic development, their emotional, all the needs, psychological needs, everything's met there. So it's kind of a boarding school, if you will, for those young ladies. And so we're hoping to be able to partner with a few other foundations long term to be able to create that kind of an academy. We want it to be world class. So what that means is it wouldn't be just for Jamaican players, if you will, to go into that academy, but it would be a global opportunity for individuals to send their players, pay a fee, right, to be a part of this academy. And then we would offer maybe 20 scholarships a year, right, to where those local players could be there for free while everyone else is basically subsidizing it based on the operating model. And so the goal there is to create that academy long term. The fourth goal is really supporting all of the national teams, if you will, right, from a financial standpoint. So from where we sit, again, it's a 4-pronged strategy. Definitely the Premier League is something that we want to build our financial support to a higher level to where we could basically fund the annual operating costs for the Premier League. And then, of course, supporting the national teams. And of course, hopefully getting to a point where we can actually get that academy up and running to where we can support and really get some world-class operations going on as it relates to women's football in Jamaica. And then, of course, we've got our scholarship programs that we do annually. So again, that's our vision. It's a big vision. And I'm a firm believer that a vision without resources is a hallucination. Me no hallucinate. So we're really trying to make sure that we can get some individuals that really can not only just see the vision, but be a part of it, and be able to be proactive in helping us to get to that next level. And so I think, since really starting in 2018, we've come a long way. And each year we continue to build on our programs and initiatives. We're looking to build our grant writing arm. So we're putting a word out for any individuals that would be willing to give and share their talents around grant writing with the foundation. Because again, all of our team members are volunteers. And so we're looking for support where possible.
Okay, so you hear it here, family. If you have a grant writer forward, just submit the resume to and you're volunteering to support the initiative. We had I know we're pushing up against the clock, and just a few more questions before we go. We had CONCACAF Vice President Mr. Randy Harris on a show earlier, and he spoke about growing the game in the Caribbean. And he spoke about initiative for both CONCACAF and CFU, Caribbean Football Union. Is the Reggae Girls Foundation looking to partner with any of those bodies in the region, whether it's CFU or CONCACAF, to facilitate the growth of the game, whether it's in Jamaica? Your model is something that I am sure other Caribbean island nations such as TNT Football Federation would be looking to replicate. Are you looking to kind of maybe partner with any of those federations? See if
I'll tell you, we've gotten lots of calls from representatives from different islands wanting to, can you expand your foundation and support the Caribbean?
Yes.
And, our response, we would love to, but today we've got to make sure we start at home. I'm Jamaican by birth. And so, a woman time now. So I want to make sure that we're round out with Reggae Girls so that they have an opportunity to compete, right? And to really achieve their potential. We have some 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds and 12-year-old ballers out there. Yes. That are looking for the opportunity. I talked to two young ladies that basically are going to be granted our scholarships. And, they've done the work, right? They've developed their skills, and there are universities in the U.S. interested in bringing them on. And what they need support with is some odds and ends, immigration fees and a few other things, airline tickets and things like that, right? Yes. And so to think that they might miss out on an opportunity just because the money not there, that not sit right with we. No. So ultimately, I don't much, but as we say, out of many we're one. And from where I sit, I think our philosophy is we have over 3 million diasporans across the globe. If everybody get $1 once a year, we couldn't meet this need, right? Yes, we recognize that. Yeah. I would say from the foundation's perspective, we do not get involved in coaching decisions. We do not get involved in player positions. And decisions. We are really focused on the fundraising aspects to support these programs, right? And so, we are a 501c3. That means everything we do is by the books. Our financials are on our website, and we are listed so that everyone can research us and find out more about us. Yeah. We've made sure that the folks that are sitting on our board, they basically have a lot to lose, right? We can't afford to basically make mistakes, if you will. We really want to make sure that things occur by the books. And so, again, we're looking for support with our fundraising efforts, but we also want to make sure that everything we do is in alignment with our mission, right? And it's really putting the girls first, as I said earlier, and making sure that we are finding ways, as we say in Jamaica, every mickle make a muckle. And so we're going to do everything we can to basically support in whatever way we can. We are not interested in being at the forefront. We're comfortable being behind the scenes. Once we know the needs, we work to fill those needs. So we just appreciate the opportunity to give back, if I can be so candid, to give back. My kids, they were born in the US, and I would consider them privileged, right? They had the opportunities that I didn't have growing up. And so that comes with big responsibilities. And so we're always looking for ways to give back, to make sure that, as we have been received support, that we're bringing others along. And so that's really our mission, is to bring more young girls from the islands along so that they can truly achieve their full potential.
Excellent. How the family can help, the diaspora can support. How can we, like you say, whether it's $1, $2, how can we support the initiative, support the Reggae Girls Foundation? I think you all are doing a magnificent job Finally, somebody with sense come decide to deal with this football team because the JFF Jaja. But how can the larger diaspora help to help the Reggae Girls Foundation, and how do we connect if we want to volunteer or we want to donate? What's the source?
Well, I would say first and foremost, don't get distracted, right? I think in life, life throws us a lot of curveballs. There are no perfect organizations. But there are people that basically can rally behind any mission like this to support our young people so that they can achieve their full potential. So I think what we need is unwavering, unconditional support of our reggae girls, if I can be so candid. When they go on that field, we're Jamaicans, so we have an opinion whether we have a command of the subject or not. So when you watch the game, you get mad with a man. Why should I dish the ball and all of that? We're looking for unconditional support. They're doing the best they can, right, when they're on that pitch. And anyone can basically, joystick or be a Sunday afternoon kind of a reviewer of the game. I think it's going to be important that we are 100% committed to these young ladies. It can't be an on and off thing, right? Okay. We shut the program down in 2014. Can't afford to do that again. The foundation will work diligently to make sure that does not happen. We want this foundation to be around for the next 100+ years. Okay. And we're hoping and we're looking for leaders that can really come to the table, not get distracted by what the devil sends our way, but remain focused and vigilant. Yes, there are challenges. Yes, there's going to be conflict, but we refuse to be a part of that conflict. The only thing we see are young Jamaican potential footballers that are looking for the opportunity to basically achieve their full potential. They might not make it to the pro ranks. But they can get a college degree, which changes the economical landscape, not just for them, but for their families in Jamaica. So how can we rally around these young individuals unconditionally, even if it's $1? We ask that you go to the Reggae Girls Foundation website or to our social media platforms, or email us at info@reggaegirlsfoundation.com. Regardless, what I would say is, again, we're in this together out of many, we're one. And so again, when they win, we win. When they lose, we lose, right? We're in this together. I'm asking the diasporans to be on the court. Right? What I mean by being on the court, it's this, or being on the pitch. When you're in the game and on the court in a sport, right? You know what it sounds like. You're proactive. You're a part of the activity. Versus when you're in the stands, there's no accountability. You're pointing the fingers. What about this? Move the ball, man, right? But so I'm asking everyone to be on the court with us. Be on the field with us, right? There's always going to be problems. But if we don't support, then there will be no support. Yes, and it ends. So we just try not to get distracted. It's not that we have blinders on, right? We see, we understand, but we've got to make sure, right, the funds that we provide, we know exactly where it's going, and we're held accountable to make sure it's spent for the initiatives that we direct those funds for. And so we've got to have those ducks in a row for us to stay in existence. So, again, I just ask for everyone's patience. We ask for their support unconditionally, and definitely visit the Reggae Girls Foundation website to learn more about the organization and how you can support and be a part of the change that we're hoping to achieve relative to the women's program.
Big ups. Thank you so much, Miss Michelle Adamalcon.
Yes, very good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really love the works. Football family, you heard it here first. Support the Reggae Girls Foundation. They're doing wonderful work. Educate, mobilize, transform someone's living condition, not just about playing ball. People trying to better their life. I really appreciate the work that you ladies are doing with the Reggae Girls Foundation.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a couple gentlemen.
Yes, big up to all them on them. But
I'd be remiss not to mention Theo Burnett. He is he's the treasurer, but he owns the Golden Crust franchise in Atlanta.
I think I know him. I live in Atlanta, so I think I know.
Yeah, so if you've got family in Atlanta, make sure you definitely take the time to patronize his establishment.
Yes.
And Lisa Quarry is our parliamentarian. We just brought on a vice president. So Ruth Ann Mitchell is our new vice president. And so we're also bringing on a cadre of membership and fundraising leaders to help us in the regions to really spread the word about the foundation and what it's doing. And if there are other foundations out there that want to partner with us, the more, the merrier, right? And together, again, our hashtag is Rooted to Rise. We're all rooted, right, to Jamaica.
Yes.
And with the support of the foundation, everybody will rise.
Everybody all right. Exactly. and ultimately, I'm sure you're aware of this, but I just want to make sure you definitely understand. The Reggae Ball Chat is fully on board. If you need anything out to the public, let us know. We'll get it out for you. We'll get it out. I really, really, really just appreciate the work that you all are doing. And big ups. Thank you. About time somebody with sense forward for help support football. And
well, again, I'm looking for y'all to hold us accountable as well, right?
Of course.
There's one thing to espouse. I'm looking for, our compadres to basically hold us accountable, ask the questions, and we will definitely be able to share whatever information is needed. Thank you for having us on the program. We greatly appreciate the opportunity.
Really appreciate it. And of course, we're kicking off Monday against Reggae Girls, kicks off Monday against Mexico, so you're ready up. Big up to the Reggae Girls Foundation President, Ms. Michelle Adam Alcon, for joining us. Thank you for joining us. And football family, you heard it here first.